Papa.
So, hi darling. You want to eat Baba?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you can see this is really crispy. 大家好. Hello everyone. This is Justin here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm excited because I'm going to be sharing with you favorites around the world. Okay, what are we going to make today? What are we going to cook today? Now, can you guess? Take a look at what's in front of me. 今日我有啲興奮，因為我要幫大家分享點樣做呢個脆皮燒肉。脆皮燒肉 crispy skin roast pork. Okay, this is a favorite in Klang Valley in Malaysia and also around the world. I've had some good ones in Bangkok and in Singapore and around Asia, even in Bali. You have the babi guling, which is similar, okay? But I know many Westerners as well and Europeans, they love this roast pork. And how do I know? Because I do this for a living. Every weekend, I sell this barbecue and roast pork, okay, which is charcoal roasted. But today I'm going to teach you a simple version of how to do it at home. You know, of course, the important thing is to make sure that your pork skin is crispy and the meat is moist. Taste-wise, flavor-wise, it is very subjective, so you can alter it. A lot of people can master the flavor of this pork, you know, but the skin is what seems to be challenging for many people. But here am I today to share with you some tips and tricks to how to make this skin very crispy. Okay? 第一步就其實就係要揀到一嚿靚嘅花肉 you know, to pick. The first step is to pick a very nice piece of pork belly. Okay, and we suggest to use the pork belly. Okay, with skin on. Okay, 一定要有皮啦，燒肉因為最緊要我哋要食到脆皮啊嘛，所以一定要皮。So you go to the butcher and ask them for a fresh piece of pork. You know, in Klang Valley, in Kuala Lumpur, we are very fortunate to have fresh pork every day. Okay, so we pick the pork belly, and it has to be very nice layering of fat and lean meat. Okay, 好重要，我哋要均勻嘅呢個肥同埋瘦啊，其實知有幾層嘅。OK，我哋唔可以揀到一嚿肉太肥，亦都唔可以揀到一嚿肉太瘦嘅，因為如果太肥嘅話，太肥我哋食落去會好流。We won't like too much fats, you know, when we're eating, we like to have some meat in it. And if it's too lean, the skin is it's very difficult for you to make it crispy. Okay? 如果係太瘦嘅話，我哋愛俾佢脆皮係好艱難嘅，所以最緊要係我哋要揾到一嚿比較均勻嘅豬肉啦。Okay? So what I have here with me is a piece of pork which is about 1.5 to 2 kilos, okay, which I'm suggesting for this recipe. Of course, you can do bigger pieces if you are more comfortable, but I suggest this is the minimum you should go. You shouldn't do something that is smaller than this. Do not worry if you say you can't finish, you can always keep it in the freezer, heat it up the next day or another day to eat, and it's still as good. Or you could also keep it, you know, 我哋唐人好中意嘅，我哋燒咗有多可以收喺打雪入邊，我哋攞嚟炒豉油啊、炒蘆筍啊 you know, you can cook it with cut it into pieces, keep it in the freezer, and at times you can fry it with soy sauce. You can use your pork for fried rice as well. So there are many uses for this roast pork. You know, instead of just eating it on its own like this. So why I'm suggesting a bigger piece, because if you have a smaller piece, it is going to be very difficult for you to have crispy skin. Why I'm saying this is, for smaller pieces, the meat is going to cook much faster than the skin. You're going to have very dry meat, okay, because you need longer time to cook, all right, the pork if you have a smaller piece, because when it's smaller, the fire cannot concentrate on the skin, okay, and therefore it's going to burn it, or you're going to have a hard piece of meat. Okay, so I'm suggesting a wider piece of meat, the skin here, so that you can cook it. Picking a nice piece of pork, okay? The next step is how are we going to prepare the skin, okay? The major preparation is for the skin, okay? So that if you have done this step well, later on you're going to be 100% guaranteed that you're going to have a nice crispy skin on your roast beef, okay? So come with me and I'm going to share with you how to make a crispy skin. What we're going to do is to cook the skin for about 10 minutes. And how do we do that? Now we're going to turn on the fire, heat up a wok or a pan, okay, which is large enough to fit in your pork. So I'm putting in a bowl of water, and the amount of water should be enough to cover at least half a piece of the pork, alright, from the skin. Now we're not going to cook this pork completely. What we're going to do is just to prepare the skin. So we're going to put in the pork skin down. Okay, once you have your water in, you're going to put in the pork skin down and lay it out flat. Okay, let the water boil, and we're going to turn down the fire and cook it for about a non-stick pan or wok, because you do not want your meat, your skin to stick on the pan, otherwise it will not be nice anymore. So you just use a non-stick pan or wok, which is very important, okay, and lay your meat down, skin down on the wok with enough water, just nice to cover about half a piece of meat, okay. Once your water is boiling and you can see it bubbling, okay, you turn down the fire to low fire. Alright, ultimately what we want is hot water but not boiling, okay, because we just want to cook and soften. Okay, so now after about 10 minutes, okay, you can take a look at your pork. Alright, just use a fork to poke it down at the top, and you can see that the color has changed, right, to a darker color, and the skin is definitely softer. So yeah, you can see it's very equal, balanced part of meat and fat. Very nice piece of pork. Okay, so now it is done. We're going to take it and rinse out all the scums from the pork, the blood, and then we're going to prepare the next step. Okay, so after cooking the skin and softening the skin, alright, for about 10 minutes, I've rinsed it with water, okay, just to clean it up a little bit, and now we're just going to pat it dry with some kitchen towel, okay. Alright, the next step is also very important here, and what we're going to do is use a fork, okay, to pierce the skin and to create many holes on the skin. This way it creates an airway for the skin, to crisp up later. Okay, 呢個步驟都好重要㗎嚇。我哋依家愛篤佢嘅皮。Okay, how do you know if the skin is ready? Okay, when you poke the fork in, all right, you will feel that the skin is pulling it back. All right, that way you can know it is ready. Okay, and if you have fresh piece of pork and you poke the skin without cooking the skin, you will know that actually you cannot poke it through because it is being very tough. Okay, now that you can see it's very easy to poke it. Okay, you can feel a slight resistance that is like pulling it. Okay, all right. Now what I like to do is to go step by step, all right, and follow a sequence in poking my pork so that I know I've poked every part of the pork. You can use a fork or you can use anything sharp, like a very sharp knife, or you can use satay sticks, to do it as well. But at home, I think the easiest is just to use a fork. Right, just poke it in sequence. To soften the skin, actually it's pretty easy to poke it, okay? And what you want to do is to create many holes. And how deep, you don't have to worry too much, probably about 1 to 1.5 cm deep. You don't do it reverse, so that I make sure I don't miss any part of the pork. Now I'm just going to be randomly poking more holes around, okay, so that to make sure that I do not miss any part of this.脆皮燒肉就係要咁樣樣準備佢嘅皮啦。我哋要篤好多嘅窿，唔使篤太耐嘅，其實又唔使篤到太深，大概1cm 咁樣樣就夠啦。你可以覺到係咪？我哋篤落去嘅時候，嗰個皮係會少少拉翻你嘅叉，你就會知道呢個皮係好篤噶啦。如果係真係篤唔入嘅話，即是你煮唔夠耐咯，你可以放翻入去滾水嗰度再煮一煮佢。我頭先煮咗大約10分鐘。So once you've cooked, you can see that there are a lot of holes, all right, and that should be sufficient. Okay, if you cook the edges as well, because sometimes you may miss the edges. Okay， 咁就搞掂啦。OK， 攞一塊紙嚟抹一抹佢嘅油，索一索佢嘅油，好冇 ？Alright, now once we have wiped off the oil, you can see, alright, you marinate this pork, and what we're going to do is this. We're going to first turn it around, okay, and we're going to slice it slightly, okay, about 1 cm deep, so that we can marinate pork. Sliced up about 1 cm at the back of the pork, where the meat is, okay, you do not need to slice the skin, but you need to slice the meat. Okay, 我哋切一切後邊嘅肉，大概1 cm 深。Okay， 一陣我哋醃製嘅時候，我哋就 next, okay, is what we're going to use for my marination. Okay, and this is what I use for my business as well. So there's no secrets here. All right, about 10 grams of garlic and 10 grams of ginger. I've chopped up finely. Okay, for the garlic, you need to chop it as fine as you can, or otherwise, what alternative you can use as a substitute is to use garlic powder and ginger powder. The garlic, all right, and then mince up the ginger. Now, for the ginger, what we're going to use is only the juice, okay, because otherwise it can be too overpowering. So after I've minced it finely, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze the juice out of this minced ginger into the garlic, all right. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to put 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Any sugar will do. A dash of white pepper. About 2 teaspoons of 5-spice powder. If you like it slightly sweeter, you can put in more sugar. If you like it more salty, then you can add in more salt. Okay, no issues. And another thing that I like to add into my roast pork is this bean curd. Okay, the bean sauce, the red bean sauce, which is 呢個係上海南乳。OK， 有啲人係好中意南乳嘅味道，有啲人係唔中意南乳嘅味道，所以係你中意嘅。如果你中意，你就可以放多啲，或者唔放都冇問題。如果唔放就係咁樣樣就已經夠啦。Quarter piece of it, and I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of the sauce inside. OK， 你都可以用普通南乳，唔一定可以用上海南乳，係我比較中意係上海南乳，因為香啲我覺得。Okay, so it's here, and finally I'm going to put in a tablespoon of soy sauce. Alright. Now once you have all your ingredients in here in the bowl, what we're going to do is to mix it up. Now once you have mixed it all up, I'm going to move the pork to a plate, alright, and I'm going to put the marination over on the pork, okay, and I'm just going to give it a good massage. So rub it around the meat, okay, 我哋要幫佢搽均勻啦，啲醃料喺佢個肉嗰度嚇。千祈唔好搽喺你嘅皮啊！Do not put it on the skin, otherwise it will turn dark. Okay. So you put in the skin on the meat and around. You see the sides as well is important. So open up where you slit open earlier. You cut open. Okay, marinate it. Okay, then we're gonna turn it around. All right. As you can see, the marination has touched the skin a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is just to wipe it off. No worries about it. Okay, and the next step is to prepare the skin. Okay, what we're going to do is put a little bit of salt, about 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, on the skin, not too much. I don't want it to be too salty. Okay, you can use fine salt or any salt that you can find. Coarse salt as well. 你放少少兩羹嘅鹽，然後細匙羹嘅醋。Put in white vinegar, just a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of white vinegar, and mix it with the salt. Coat it evenly on the skin. Okay, the salt is going to draw out moisture from the skin, and the vinegar is going to help you make the skin crispy. Okay, we're done with the marination. It's simple as that, right? We're going to keep it this way and put it into the fridge, okay, for at least 12 hours. A marinated piece of. After 12 hours, now here's our roast pork, and you can see that the skin has all dried up. Okay, so the skin will turn hard and a darker color. All right, now to prepare, what we're going to do is this. All right, to maintain the piece of pork to be straight and flat. All right, otherwise if you just cook it this way, the pork may curl up. Okay, and once it curls up, it's going to be like this. Right, so to maintain that straight, what we need to do is to take a few bamboo skewers to poke it through the pork. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just poke it to the center of the pork. Okay, the front and the back. Okay, the top, bottom. Alright, this is how you do it, if you can see. Alright, then you turn it around. We're going to poke it in this way too. Just from the center. If you don't have these skewers, what you can use is also the bamboo sticks, yeah, the satay sticks. You know, this will help the pork maintain its figure. Okay. Okay, this is one trick, all right, so that it doesn't curl up, and so that when you cook, there will be oil coming out from the skin, right? So this will help it maintain the flatness of the pork, so that oil can flow down, and it will not just accumulate in the center of the piece of pork, which makes it difficult for the pork to crisp. Okay, so you can see this is what I've done. Okay, I've put the skewers in here. Skewers, just to the center, and cook it rather than okay. This is what we do. The pork is ready to go in. Everyone, after about 1.5 hours of cooking this piece of roast pork, it is finally done. Alright, and I can see that it looks crispy, looks good. Alright, can you hear it? This is the sound of it. Okay, after roasting it, because we roasted it in high fire, so what we're going to do is going to scrape off the burnt part, okay? Just slightly. You can hear how crispy is it? And this is actually the cookie kind of crispiness. This is the ultimate texture of the skin that you want to get. Okay, you just going to scrape off very lightly with a spoon. Okay, the black darker parts. Alright, and we're good. So you can see here, okay, this is the skin, golden brown. Now we're going to take off this bamboo skewers, alright? So we're just going to pull it out. The pork for about 15 minutes before we cut so that it's not too hot. Okay, now after about 20 minutes the pork has rested. Okay, you have to make sure to rest the pork and not cut it straight away because the skin will detach, okay, if you cut it straight away when it's too hot. Alright, so hi darling, you want to eat baba?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you can see this is really crispy. Okay, now how to cut it is also very important. Alright, a lot of people like to cut it from the skin top. Okay, but I would suggest always, as we do business, for our business, what we do is we turn it around, skin down, and we cut the meat. Okay, from the meat, we cut it in. This is our roast pork that we have made today. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you'll find success in making this roast pork as well. Remember to like and subscribe. Hi, come. Do you want some baba? Here you go. Up. You hold. Wow. Now if you want to hear the crunchiness, let me take a piece of skin. Mmm. So good. Good. High five. Good job.